Jane, you recently used the term managing your boss. What do you mean by that?
Wow. Well, as a boss, I know that I need to be managed. And there's a few things that I look for in everyone who works for me. And I think it's really, really important. And it could be your boss, or frankly, it could be someone else you're working with. But let's say that I'm your boss. The first thing is to understand what my leadership style is. Am I enthusiastic? Am I very personable? Or am I very serious and very direct? Because depending on what my style is, you're going to want to flex your style accordingly. So, for example, someone with my personality likes to have a little small talk. I like to talk about what your weekend was, or maybe tell you about the fact that I just rescued a couple of horses. A lot of other people that are in leadership positions or the boss want to just get right to it. Like, tell me, Jake, what you did on this project. And like, let's don't have any of the small talk around. So if you understand kind of what my style is, you're going to be able to be prepared to be able to talk to me effectively.
How could I figure out what their style is, especially if it's a new boss or it's a new job?
Well, I think you can learn from others in the company. Again, I think probably watching how the boss interacts with other people is probably the best way. So if you find that I sit around and want to do small talk, then you can see that I'm comfortable with that. Or if every meeting that I'm in, you see that I get right to the point, I'm very short, only want the correct answers, don't want any fluff around it. You can very quickly pick that up. And this is really important to be tuned into that, where you're actually paying attention to the cues that I'm giving you so that you can respond accordingly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So, another thing to think about when you're trying to manage me is to make sure that you're really paying attention to detail, that you are correcting your own work and then I don't have to find mistakes in it. One of the things I find most annoying as a boss is if your job is to bring to me a spreadsheet that's got everything added up, summarized perfectly, for me to correct things, find typos, find things that don't add up. It's really frustrating to me because I want to not spend time checking your work. I want to have time to talk to you about what the work is about and the insights that you have in the work, not about any potential mistakes. Make sure you follow up with me. So we'll say at the end of this meeting, there's a couple of things that need to happen. If you would in the next day or so say, "Hey Jane, these were the three things that came out of the meeting for me, and I'd really like to make sure that I'm on top of those," versus me having to track you down in a couple of days and say, "So Jake, have you done anything on these things?" That sort of proactive, knowing that you need to own the follow up, is really, really important to me. Um, Ask a lot of questions. I think especially as a new person that might be joining a team, which is it's great to be intellectually curious. Like, ask questions about the company, about things are done, not just about whatever your world is, but about understanding why decisions are made in the company. And that's not being critical, it's not being nosy, it's being, hey, I care about this company, and so I want to ask a few questions so that I can learn more. Because you're going to be better at your job if you know more about the company overall. And then finally, take initiative. I mean, you are so great at this in everything I've ever seen you do, but a lot of people are afraid to do things beyond what their job description is. And I love someone who comes in and says, "Hey, Jane, I've done this, this, and this, but you know what? Let me do this for you. Let me take on this project." And a lot of times, if you actually even try to take on a project that you don't think anybody else wants, I appreciate that even more. And so this initiative thing is super, super important when you're trying to manage me to be the best boss that I can be.